And welcome to the GetTotalWealth.com video podcast. I'm here today with Jordan Moorhead, who is a realtor. Are you a broker?
I am a broker in Minnesota. I am almost done with my broker's license here in Texas. So come September, October, I will be.
I see. Okay, but you've got a team and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So he's also a real estate investor, which is, believe it or not, rare among realtors. I know so many realtors, there's 120,000 of them in Greater Houston. I bet not more than 5,000 of them are investors as well, which makes no sense. They see this wealth being built and they don't take action, and you did. As you can see, he's young. He's only 32. He started investing at 27. He's got 3 6 units. And where are those again?
The 3 6 units are in Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky. And then how many single-family homes?
9 single-family homes in Louisville, Kentucky, and then a duplex in Austin.
And his goal over the next 5 years, which I think is low for him, is to get up to 150 units. I really do strongly believe that you'll go way past that, because you can join a group like this and raise capital and go buy 200 units as opposed to doing it all by yourself. If you're going to do it all by yourself, maybe you'll go a little slower. But we don't talk a lot about house hacking on this podcast, but you have done it successfully and differently than I was shown what house hacking is. So if you would describe that most recent house hack deal that you did.
So the most recent one I'm currently in right now, bought it in 2020 in Austin, Texas, straight off the MLS, nothing special. It was a 2-unit property with 2 3-bedroom, 1-bath units. They were pretty rough. So I spent about $65,000 rehabbing it. I bought it for $341,000. And I'm refinancing now into a normal conventional loan, 25% down. It appraised at $565,000.
That's amazing. So you're in it all for what, about 405? Is that about right?
All in for 405.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you make over 140 or whatever grand, and you're living for how much a month?
$700 a month.
In Austin.
Mm-hmm. A great area of Austin, too. 15 minutes from downtown. So,
which is, Austin's blowing up. If you're not familiar with Austin, the houses are going for sale, $500,000 house. 8 or 10 offers later, it's selling for $550,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what's going on there. You've really always been an entrepreneur. You took a W-2 job. Could you tell that story so that the viewer can relate to it if they're stuck in a job they don't like?
Yeah, so I started a lawn business when I was 12 or 13 years old, was making good money, and then thought, I'm going to take an hourly job, and I'm going to make more money because I'm going to work more hours. Did that until I was about 23. So through college, I was still working hourly jobs and just hated it. I wasn't making enough money. I was working a lot, and I didn't have any freedom. I didn't have any life. But, I made ends meet, and that's a W-2 job for me, is you don't have any control, and you just get to make ends meet. You don't get to make anything more than that.
And you went up to 80 hours at one time, right?
Yeah, I had 2 jobs. So, of course, in my mindset was the more hours I work, the more I'm going to get paid, and that's how W-2 works. So I said, I'm going to get another job. I'm going to work 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Then I'm going to go work 5 o'clock in the afternoon to 1 or 2 in the morning.
Wow. The only reason that resonates with me is because that's the way I thought. Mm-hmm. I literally thought that the way I was going to get ahead is I was going to work more and harder than anybody else until they came in and cut my pay, which was the best thing that could have happened to me. But yeah, it's that concept just doesn't work, because your life disappears when you're working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. So as you continue to grow your portfolio, do you see yourself continuing to house hack, or do you think you'll move away from that?
So my girlfriend and I have talked. We're going to do this a couple more times, so maybe 3 or 4 more times, and then we're done. Not because it's awful and we hate it, just because we don't want to do it forever. It is a little uncomfortable, so you have to be okay being uncomfortable to do it, but it's not horribly uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
like I said, we completely remodeled this house. It was disgusting before. Now it's all new luxury vinyl plank, stainless steel appliances,
Sounds
quartz
nice.
countertops, tile everywhere. It's not bad for paying $700 a month.
And the point that I just, Lucas, you'll have to edit this out till I think of this. You were talking about, oh, I know. So the problem I always had with house hacking was the way it was explained to me was you buy a 4-bedroom house and rent out 3 bedrooms. Mm-hmm. And my argument has always been it's hard enough to live with a spouse and kids, let alone 3 strangers. But you took a different, if you will, approach where you bought a duplex, you live in one side, you've got privacy, you're not dealing with those people on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. To me, I've lived in apartments before. I guess any uncomfortableness comes from the fact that if anything goes wrong, they're right there.
Yeah, but they never come next door. You always get a text message or an email. I get that question all the time. Well, what if the tenants come beating on my door at 2 a.m? It's never happened to me.
Never happened to me either.
Yeah. So I don't imagine it's going to happen to anybody else anytime easy or soon.
Yeah, and it depends on how effective you are as a communicator, mm-hmm. leasing the property. And you make it clear, do not knock on my door. You text, email, or leave a letter on my door or whatever. But I've never had a tenant call me after 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've gotten maybe 1 or 2 weekend phone calls. This is in 30 years and hundreds of units. Mm-hmm. So if you lease correctly, you know what you're doing, they don't bother you. With the single families, your partner's kind of running those in, why can I not remember? Louisville. Your partner's running those in Louisville as well as the 3-6 units?
He doesn't have anything to do with the 3-6 units.
Okay.
We don't manage anything either, so he's essentially running the acquisition side of things in Louisville. He's not doing anything with management.
So who's running those for you?
We have a property manager, regular run-of-the-mill property manager, pay him 10% of gross profits. He does an amazing job with leasing, which was always the hard part with property managers that are on the third party.
Absolutely.
He has them filled in a day or two, and that makes you a lot of money.
Yeah, it does. Because turnover can cost you $1,800 to $3,000 mm-hmm. in a multifamily, so it's not that much different in a single family by the time you do your make ready and you lose 2 weeks rent or whatever the circumstance is. So if he's getting them leased that quick, that's a great property manager. Have you ever run property yourself where you managed and leased?
I have. I've managed my first 6 unit in Louisville from out of state.
Wow.
So I believe that I'll manage anything within an hour's drive as long as it's not too many units on my own pretty easily, because it's not a lot of work. It's all text message nowadays.
It is.
You're just answering text message, and for me, I answer a text message. I text a handyman. I say, handyman, go over and fix this thing, coordinate with the tenant when you can go, and that's all I have to do. So I'm really a text message call center when I'm a property manager. I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah, and that's good information, because a lot of people that watch this, they want to own rent property, but they have that fear that it's going to be management intensive. I'm going to get all kinds of phone calls late night, fix a toilet or whatever. So I'm glad you shared that. So my next question really comes down to, when you look at yourself in 5 years having 150 units, well, that's going to be way over 10 grand a month. You had mentioned that 10 grand a month was your basic number, and that's going to be way over 10 grand a month. Mm-hmm. Where do you see yourself over the next 2 years?
Next 2 years, I just want to keep acquiring rentals. I'd like to be $8 grand a month or so in the next 2 years, and I have a pretty good plan to get there. We're not taking any money out of our business, my partner and I, and we're reinvesting everything for at least the next 2 years. We're finding a fair amount of deals, so I think we'll be there in 2 years and
that's your financial independence number, mm-hmm. 8. 10 gives you an extra $2,000 for travel, romance, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right now it's even lower than that, but I'm living very frugally right now. But yeah, 8 is where I need to be comfortable.
Well, when you hit 20, let me know, and I'll put you in touch with my Ferrari dealer.
Okay.
Because let's discuss that before we finish. You have a very wise strategy, which is you're not going to buy your Ferrari or whatever car you love until your passive income will pay for it. Mention that and share what Robert Kiyosaki said about affording things.
So, yeah, I love what Robert Kiyosaki says. He said, it's not you can't afford it, it's how can you afford it. There's always a way. Anything can be done. And I think that mindset transfers over to pretty much anything else you're trying to do. If you're trying to invest in real estate, if you're trying to work as a salesperson or a sales agent, it's not, this deal's not going to happen. No, how can this deal happen?
Yeah.
And you have to look at everything that way of not this isn't possible, but how is this possible? Maybe it's not possible in the way you're trying to do it. Everything is possible. Elon Musk just landed a rocket that's going to go to Mars on the ground after it flew up into orbit.
That was considered impossible.
Yeah. Exactly. So I love that mindset. Also, with not buying, and I was actually just listening to a podcast about this. You don't buy your luxuries until your passive income can cover it, but you can buy whatever you want. Just figure out how you're going to make that passive income that's going to pay for it. So if you want a Ferrari, that's fine. You could absolutely buy a Ferrari. How many rental properties or how big of a rental property do you need to buy to pay for your Ferrari? Then you're good to go.
Yeah, we had a guy that wanted to sail around the world, and he had $300,000 or $400,000. He was going to buy a $400,000 boat. He joined up to the group. I talked him into buying an apartment complex with the $300,000. I think it was about a $1.5 million deal. The income from that property paid for his boat and for him to go around the world. And when he got back, he had an apartment complex that was going to continue to pay his bills. That's all Kiyosaki's talking about. Go buy something that will pay for whatever toy you want to buy. So, all right, Jordan, I really appreciate you coming on the video podcast. You've got a great story, and I also like the fact that you're focused on helping and serving other people. I didn't get a chance to ask you that question, but your focus on helping and serving others is very impressive, and I think you should really keep it up because I'm 56. I can tell you it works. It really makes a big difference. So, did you want to say something?
There's Zig Ziglar says, what does he say?
You can have everything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want.
I love that. Yeah, it's what you got to do. If you're helping other people, you're going to get what you want. So just make other people the focus, and it's going to take care of you.
Agreed. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Have a great rest of your day.